I'm Zach Moss, and this is my demonstration speech. I'm going to be making homemade egg noodles, and this is my audience. To make homemade egg noodles, you need eggs. I've got 2 eggs. I've got a teaspoon of salt, and I have flour. You can adjust the salt based on your taste, so it kind of varies. First, I'm going to start by spreading some flour out on the table because you want a good floured surface because you are making a dough, so you don't want the dough to stick to the surface of the table. Of course, it's just going to not stick. I kind of like to use a lot of flour for that because I use a very large area, and to me it just works better for me when I use a lot of flour. I have Mario in the background. And then you'll want to add the flour to the eggs. I'm going to start with a couple scoops because I don't usually measure my ingredients. I usually do it all by consistency. But it's going to vary based on what you do. I like to use my hand when it comes to mixing the dough together. Mama. Because for me, that tells me whether or not I got the right consistency of the dough. And I do need a lot more flour. I should have floured my hand first too. And I'll cover my hand a little bit in flour so that the flour doesn't stick as well. I didn't have my other hand very well covered, so now the dough is very well stuck to my hand. And I do have a nice small ball of dough going, kind of. It needs mixed a little better. And of course, when you do this, you're going to want clean hands and a clean surface. I did already get the eggs out and clean the table and everything off before I started recording, so and I'll just pull the dough off my fingers. Every single time I've done this, I've always managed to get dough caked on my fingers, so to me, it's just unavoidable. No matter how well I have my hands floured. So you kind of want a nice little ball of dough. And of course it will flake out because you're constantly adding more flour. Now I'm trying to spread the dough out. I'm going to, or the flour out, so I can roll the dough out. So I can keep it all in one spot. So you take the rolling pin and you just lightly roll the dough out. And typically you'll want to spread some of the flour on the rolling pin too, so the dough doesn't stick directly to the rolling pin. And this helps you mix the flour, or the dough as well. And of course, as you might be able to see in the video, I do have some dough still sticking to the table. Like I said, this is kind of inevitable, but the flour definitely helps. So I folded the dough back up, and I'm going to roll it back out again. Need some more flour on the rolling pin again. So at this point, I'll roll the dough out one more time. And it all varies. I like my noodles fairly well thick. So I didn't roll it out real thin, but I like to use a butter knife. And I like noodles of all different lengths and sizes, but I like them fairly thick. So I'll lightly cut out about what I want for noodle size. And you don't want it to be too wide because they do plump up and thicken when you cook them. And so you also don't want them to be too thick, because otherwise, while they plump up while they're cooking, they won't cook all the way through, or they'll take longer than to cook. So you cut all these out, and then you have your egg noodles right there. I cut 3, and these are great to pop in the oven, dry out, and then you can put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. Or if you're making soup right away, you can drop them right in the soup broth and they'll cook, and they actually kind of float when they're done cooking. So that is how you make an egg noodle. And that was my speech and demonstration. Here's my audience.